In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this work session regular meeting of the Franklin Township Council was made as required, indicating that this meeting would take place at the Municipal Building at 7 p.m. on Thursday, June 12, 2025.
If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for the invocation by Councilman Rahman Barrison. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we gather here today as members of the Township Council, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community, keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Let us now continue to strive to make a better world. Amen.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Barrison?
Here.
Councilwoman Francois?
Here.
Councilman Karazi?
Here.
Mayor Kramer?
Here.
Councilman Onijaka?
Here.
Councilmember Potasnik?
Present.
Deputy Mayor Dean?
Here.
Councilman Vasanella?
Here.
Councilman Wright?
Okay. Next up is item number 5 on the agenda. Copies of the agenda are at the front of the room near the clerk. First one is Pride Month proclamation by Councilmember Potasnik.
You want to come down, Mayor?
I guess I will.
And stay there. The next two.
Yeah. Sure. Of course. Yes.
I'm just inviting the Pride Planning Committee for the 2025 second annual Pride, Franklin Pride event that was held last Saturday to come up and join us. Amazing. There's some folks that couldn't be here today. They have like jobs or families because we've been working so hard. But I'm going to read this resolution and tell you a little bit about what happened and where we are as a community to reaffirm Franklin as an inclusive community, a supportive community, and a safe community for LGBT plus people and families. This is a Pride resolution recognizing June 2025 as Pride Month. So happy Pride, folks. Whereas Pride Month is observed annually in June to honor the LGBTQ plus community and commemorate the Stonewall uprisings of June of 1969, which marked a pivotal moment in the fight for LGBT plus rights and equality. And whereas the community, LGBTQ plus, has made invaluable contributions to our society in all fields, in arts, science, business, public service, and community leadership, enriching our community through their diverse perspectives and talents. Whereas despite significant progress towards equality, members of the LGBTQ plus community continue to face discrimination, prejudice, challenges that require our ongoing commitment to creating an inclusive and welcoming environment for all residents. And whereas our community is strengthened when all individuals are valued, respected, and able to live authentically without fear of discrimination or harassment based on their sexual orientation or gender expression. And whereas it's essential that we continue to promote understanding, acceptance, and equal treatment of all people, regardless of whom we love, or they love, or how they identify. Whereas Pride Month serves as an important opportunity to celebrate diversity, promote awareness, and reaffirm our commitment to ensuring that all residents can participate fully in community life with dignity and respect. Whereas we need to recognize ongoing support for the LGBTQ youth, our families, individuals, through policies and practices that promote inclusion, safety, and equal opportunity. So the council proclaim June as 2025 Pride Month in our community and encourage all residents to celebrate the contributions and achievements of LGBTQ plus individuals and families and promote understanding, acceptance, inclusion in all aspects of the community and our lives here. Support efforts to eliminate discrimination and create equal opportunities for all and allow for participation in all our educational activities and events that foster respect and unity. That is the resolution, so congratulations and thank you for that. A little bit about Pride this last weekend. I want to say it was amazing. We had rain, so we weren't really sure what was going to happen. But our goal was 150 people, which we exceeded, even in the rain, with 185 attendees. When you add in the vendors, over 22 community-based organizations that came out, hospitals and churches, the youth center, our libraries, all there to reaffirm our commitment to inclusion, but also to provide services and community for folks. That was awesome. And then we had performances from the Franklin Band, the New Jersey Gay Men's Chorus, and then, of course, the amazing, brought tears to my young actors from the Villagers Theaters with the cast of Matilda to sort of top it off, and we gave out some awards. It wouldn't have been possible to have that happen, so I just want to recognize some individuals. First of all, Safi Callan, who's our manager of special events. We got to give it up to Safi. She's so incredible. I also want to say thank you to Township Manager Bob Vornlocker, who was incredible in having Pride be an official event for the town, which added all kinds of new resources, and that was awesome. And then also to Stephen, I want to make sure I get everyone's names here, Dahl from the Township. Oops, I lost it. And then in the Pride Planning Committee, folks that weren't able to be here, Larry Dumbrum, Jim and Joe aren't here, right? Jim Kirshner, Joe Light, Frank's here, so I'll mention Tyler Pacone, Claire. Oh, yeah, Claire's here, right? Yeah, you guys are here. So David Hasbury did photography, which was awesome. Ashley Isaiah Harris is a Franklin graduate, spoke. Phyllis Beals and her family were tremendous, helping with parking. Susan McCarthy, Maria Santiago, Darrell Princely, and Ellen Kapreski. Folks that are here that I want to mention, Amanda Hoffman, all the way to our left. We have Frank Angola. We have Christopher Supercubi Rios and Cody Supercubi Rios. Did I get it close? Rios Supercubi. Thank you. I got that Supercubi part right. I mean, I should get some credit for that one. It took me about 4 months. It was a tough group. Holly Hardaway and Claire Mullery. Thank you, guys. And then as well, we had amazing leadership with JFK Transitional Health from another one of our medical professionals in town. We're so lucky to have Ushantha Nirmal. And then, of course, Safi. The mayor went away, so I'm not sure if he wanted to share any thoughts. But all in all, you know, 2 mom families, 2 dad families, and their children. Allies. I can't tell you how many families that weren't part of the LGBT community, but were just allies that were there for a great time. We had a vendor who was a baker, sold out of every single item, and it was just amazing. So tremendous job to everybody from the bottom of my heart, from all of us on council, from all the community members who are looking up to events like this to feel safe and included. Thank you. It means a ton. So let's give a round of applause for them.
No, I gave my extra pen. I gave it to the mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Do you want to say anything, Mayor?
I don't know.
Thank you.
You didn't even read the proclamation.
Yeah.
You didn't even read it. You read it? You read the proclamation? You just did. I didn't even read it. Yeah, you did. I must have been paying attention.
Very short, very quick. Besides the importance of this event, which is dear to my heart, this was just a fun group to work with. That's why I kept coming back. But this is very important. Everyone in Franklin needs to feel welcome, and that's what those signs that we've put up about no hate, or hate has no home here, are about. And this is a group that's welcome and loved. Thank you.
Until next year, we have another event planned. We're going to get right to it next week.
Councilman Embarrasson. I don't have my script in front of me, so I don't know.
You sure you don't want to go back up there, you know?
Good evening, everyone. All right, I have a couple of commendations today. The first up is our Franklin Food Bank. That's the order I have here. Food Bank, I don't know how much you know, they do incredible work in Township. I think the last heard, I think that Franklin Township has about 9,000 people that are hungry, fighting in food insecurity, and the food bank is helping them, more than 1,000 families a week, and we all recognize that. We all know how important they are, how helpful they are. We need them here, and what is commendable is that they were noticed by Washington, D.C., and they were recently recognized by a congressional award. So we wanted to bring them here and share that news with the county, the township at large, and give them this commendation. Come on over, Derek. So we prepared a commendation. So I'm just going to read it quickly. Whereas the Franklin Food Bank has served as a cornerstone of the community since 1975, demonstrating exceptional dedication to combating food insecurity and hunger throughout Franklin Township. And whereas on June 4th, 2025, Franklin Food Bank was honored with the prestigious 2025 Community Champion Hunger Leadership Award at the Congressional Hunger Center's annual Hunger Leadership Awards dinner in Washington, D.C. And whereas Executive Director Derek Smith accepted his distinguished associate accolade on behalf of the Franklin Food Bank, representing the tireless efforts of the staff, volunteers, and supporters who make this vital work possible. And whereas in 2024 alone, Franklin Food Bank distributed 3.1 million pounds of food, facilitated over 30,000 client visits, and mobilized over 17,000 volunteer hours while implementing a holistic approach that includes health screenings, nutrition workshops, and SNAP benefits assistance. And whereas the Franklin Food Bank's outstanding commitment to addressing food insecurity has made a profound and a lasting impact on the lives of countless individuals and families in our community, with 94% of client families reporting an improved capacity to afford other essential needs. And whereas the national recognition reflects the exceptional leadership, innovation, and compassion that the Franklin Food Bank brings to fight against hunger, further validated by its receipt of a $1 million grant from Mackenzie Scott's Yield Giving Foundation in 2024. And now, therefore, we hereby extend our heartfelt congratulations to the Franklin Food Bank, Executive Director Derek Smith, and all associated staff and volunteers for this well-deserved recognition. We commend their unwavering commitment to ensuring that no member of our community goes hungry, and we celebrate their achievement of this prestigious national award. Congratulations.
Good evening, Franklin. It's great to see all of you. Franklin Food Bank is celebrating 50 years supporting this town this year. 50 years. Right? I'm always torn when I say that.
Yeah.
Because 50 years is impressive for a nonprofit to be around supporting the needs of a community. It shows resilience and grit and innovation and compassion. But I'm sure some of you have heard me say this before. For a county as wealthy as our county, for a state as wealthy as our state, for a country as wealthy as our country, we should not be dealing with food insecurity. It is not, yes, please, thank you. It is definitely not a financial issue, and it's not a food issue. What are the things that we're prioritizing? I will say this. I had the pleasure of moving here from Brooklyn in 2005 with my wife and daughters. Franklin is my home. This place is very special. It's very unique. In order for us to have been around for 50 years, it speaks to the support that this community has offered the Franklin Food Bank. And as long as there's a need here in Franklin, we will continue to show up each and every day. Our doors will be open, and not only will we do our best to provide food to this community, we will also make sure that the other services, right, because food insecurity is just a symptom of so many challenges those individuals and families and neighborhoods face. So we will continue to partner with other organizations and hospitals and clinics and community-based groups to make sure that we're going to support the needs right here in Franklin Township. I am the proud leader of the Franklin Food Bank. I have an incredible staff, volunteers, and supporters of our work. And this council in particular have been warriors for the Franklin Food Bank since I've moved to this wonderful town. And I am so humbled and grateful for this commendation. And I can promise you the Franklin Food Bank will continue to do everything we can to support the needs of Franklin. So thank you very much.
What is there else to say? You've got an organization dedicated to feeding people, the very basic needs of our community, of people, of any living thing. And I was moved by your words that in this time and place, there should be no need for this. But thankfully, because there is a need, you're there, and you're always there for us. Thank you.
I would like also to say a few. First of all, congratulations, Derek. And we are very fortunate. Our community is really fortunate to have leaders like Derek and an organization like Food Bank. It's just amazing. I have been there. I've worked with them. I know what they do and how wonderful volunteers are helping them. Here's the catch. The need has increased, and unfortunately will continue to increase. So hopefully in the next 3-4 years, they have this great project that they're going to provide something very special for the community, where each member of the community that they have a need, they go there with dignity in a beautiful environment and get their needs met. So please be at the lookout for something special coming, and I hope everybody, I mean all of us, can support their mission and vision for the future. Thank you again.
Next up is I spoke about the next generation, how they're going to be ruling. They are so important to our community and the country, because we have to encourage them to get involved in social activities, political activities, and we bring up leaders that way. So time to time, I bring young authors, youngsters, volunteers, and recognize the extraordinary work they all do in the community that goes unnoticed. So today I have a great honor and pleasure to welcome Kavinita Venkatesh. Come on in. And you can come over too, the parents and the family. So this family has provided so much to the township. I'm going to just pull up, give me a second. Including the township. So they run a charity organization called charity crossing. It's in a couple of states, has been around for a few years, and have been recognized in other states for their exceptional work to the community. So this family, especially the young leader, Kavnita, has led in the effort to bring that volunteer charity to our state, to our town, and providing exceptional service, and not only just service in terms of their time, but also they mobilize good stuff that everybody needs. And I've introduced them to a couple of community leaders in town, and 2 years ago, and they have been bringing trucks and trucks, loads of things that they donate freely. These are good new things that everyone needs in their families every day. Some of the things that they have done, monthly donations to the Franklin Animal Shelter, pet stuff, cages, pet play toys, food. They have done multiple events at the Franklin Youth Center. Councilman Francois would know this. They have provided lots of gym equipment and other items that the kids need. And they have done donations to Parkside Senior Center. Where's Johnny Tibbs today? He's not here. He's not been here for a while. So the Parkside Senior Center, they have donated household items, socks, clothes, kitchen equipment. And donations to the Franklin Youth Center, as I said, gym equipment, balance beam, pickleball kit, and other sports equipment. They donated to the Franklin Municipal Building. They brought executive chairs. I gave it to the township manager. He generously gave to police department, who needed more than Bob Von Locker. And then back to school public events, they provided school supplies, bags, toys, painting, sport equipment, and so on and so forth. So this is all coordinated by Kavnita. Now, she's also an accomplished high schooler. She has been recognized by the governor's school in which area? Somerset. In Somerset School, she got selected for the governor school. So I have prepared a commendation for both the organization. It's 2 pages long, so I'm not going to read it, but I'm going to just award it to you too. All right? The one for you. That's the one for Charity Crossing, and this is yours. Congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a junior, well, not anymore. I'm a senior in high school, and I started off because of my dad. So, like, we started in the warehouses in Delaware, so we brought in items, and we would go out. And I'll be honest, like, there were some weekends that it's very tiring because of school. We don't want to go out, but at the end of the day, when we do go out, it's like you see so much, and you're grateful for what you do have, because many people out there don't have that. And it's a very great opportunity, and I get to work with my friends, and I would get to meet a lot of people, and through that, I get a lot of opportunities too, so I will continue to do this as long as I can. Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Okay. Just enjoying watching
Really nice.
Councilmember Potasnik run back to his seat.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move, or I make a motion to move item 16A, which is the resolution opposing the construction and installation of the proposed compressor station 206 as part of the Williams-Transco Northeast Supply Enhancement Project, and opposing the entire project to right now before public discussion.
We have a motion to move
So moved.
motion forward. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
So, moved and seconded.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. Would you like to read the resolution? You kind of just did, but if you could read the resolution?
The entire resolution?
No. Every word.
Yes, Mayor. I move
And I'd like you to pantomime it.
I move resolution number 25-266, opposing the construction and installation of the compressor station 206 as part of the Williams Transco Northeast Supply Enhancement Project, otherwise known as NESE, and opposing the entire NESE proposal. It's unneeded, it's unhealthy, and it's dangerous. And once again, I believe Franklin Township will send a strong message that we don't want it here in our town, across our beautiful bay. We can move on to cleaner energy that's healthier, faster, and protects our children and grandchildren.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Then seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to add one thing to what the council member just said. This afternoon, my office received a call from the South Brunswick Legal Department asking for a copy of our resolution, which I provided to their township manager, Brian Bidlack. They will be considering, and I would imagine adopting, the identical resolution and taking the same action at their next council meeting.
That's great.
My comment is we beat them once, we can beat them again.
Yes.
Unless there's any other discussion, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Omijaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Koznick?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Ryan?
It passes. Thank you. I ask for unanimous consent to open to the public without
So moved.
objection.
Aye.
I see.
No, all you have to do is remain silent when I ask for unanimous consent. We're open to the public. 5 minutes, limited in time. May only come up once. No yielding of time. Please state your name and address. And Mr. Bornlacher, if you could turn the podium around.
Oh, sure.
Anyone wishing to speak? Just come on up. You don't need to raise your hand. If you're under 18, you only need to give your first name, not your last name or address.
Just first name? No address?
No.
Correct.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Zoe. I attend Franklin High School, currently finishing my year as a 9th grader.
Got to get right up to the mic.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay. I'm coming in today to ask for your support in my petition to the County and State Departments of Transportation to survey, assess, and reduce the speed limit on Franklin Boulevard from Easton Avenue to Somerset Street. My parents and I have been advised by the Franklin Township School District that the area has not been surveyed for at least a decade regarding speed limit and pedestrian foot traffic, specifically students walking to and from school along Franklin Boulevard. The current speed limit along Franklin Boulevard is 40 miles per hour. There are lights that flash when school is in session, but speeding and unsafe crosswalks continue to threaten students walking along Franklin Boulevard every school day. It is my understanding that the last time Franklin Boulevard was assessed was before truck traffic and houses ran along and faced Franklin Boulevard. However, in the current day, there are many more cars and trucks that speed along Franklin Boulevard and put students, parents, and even the crossing guards in danger. I intend to ask the County and State Departments of Transportation to take a look at our community concerns and ensure that Franklin Boulevard is a safe space for all the residents in Franklin, whether they be in a car or on foot. I will follow up my request tonight with an email to you all, which will include letters from current Franklin Township students who have attended Franklin Middle School at Hamilton Street campus, as a pedestrian along Franklin Boulevard, as well as a letter from the principals of Pine Grove Manor, Hillcrest, and Franklin Middle Schools in support of my petition to the Department of Education. Thank you for your time tonight, and I will follow up via email. I look forward to working with you all to make Franklin an even safer place. Thank you.
Good evening, Leslie Primo, 21 Phillips Court. I'd just like to say how proud I am of my daughter. She's a product of Franklin Township Public Schools. I've had conversations with the school district about Franklin Boulevard and the traffic. You know, in the fall when school starts and we go to daylight savings time or daylight savings time end, the children are going to school when it's a little dark. They're walking up Franklin Boulevard because they live within a mile of the Hamilton Street campus. When they're walking, I'm told that back in the day, there wasn't truck traffic going up Franklin Boulevard. There weren't driveways coming onto Franklin Boulevard. There are sidewalks on some parts of Franklin Boulevard and not others. There are crosswalks that are not defined. We've seen crossing guards almost be run over with their signs up. And if the crossing guard won't be recognized, the children don't have a chance. And we're just asking that you support us in the petition to the DOTs. We understand that it may not be totally a town decision, but we ask for your support in whatever movement we can to get the area assessed. And either we help our school district bus these students, or we get some sort of safety put in place so that we don't have the danger that we have now. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. Christopher Rios Superkruby, 16 Bloomfield Avenue, Somerset. So I would simply like to thank Councilmember Ed Potosnik and Mayor Kramer for their leadership, and my colleagues on the Pride Planning Committee, and all those who worked behind the scenes for their contributions in planning the Franklin Township Pride Festival. As the LGBTQ+ community continues to be the object of hate, discrimination, prejudice, and oppression, and particularly by the current anti-democratic, morally bankrupt, and yes, fascist Republican administration, I am grateful for the efforts of all of those who support the cultivation of a democratic society that recognizes the inherent dignity and human rights of LGBTQ+ individuals. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kirk Frost, 58 People's Line Road, Franklin Township. I'd like to thank the council for
Need to get a little closer to the microphone.
I'd like to thank the council for passing the resolution. I see why. We have till Tuesday at 5 p.m. for FERC in terms of comments, in terms of asking them to do a full new project. Now, when the project of Compressor Station 206 was requested, they had not yet had any contracts for need in terms of validating the project. And so FERC has two components to determine. One is necessity, and the other one is public convenience, what they call convenience. So there was no necessity at the time when they applied, and FERC is still going with it. And there's all the indication that they're going to go as expedited. So we have till Tuesday to urge them to do not an expedited, but a full new project. What Transco states is that it's the same project. You approved it in 2019, nothing's changed. Well, we didn't have heat domes in 2018 or 2016. We didn't have the tornado touchdowns. We didn't have, there's so many things that have changed in terms of the environment, but also the Raritan Bay is, it's being fed from battery casings of a EPA tragic site, whatever. And now NJDEP provided me the air permit. They don't mention methane emissions. They don't mention carbon dioxide emissions. They don't mention all of the toxic pollutant emissions. They only mention 9, I think, at total. I have to go back and analyze it fully, but they came to you and said that they were going to capture the venting. And so that the venting that they do on a regular basis, all compressor stations do venting in order to help the gas move along the pipeline. Get stuck, they get some pressure, they have to release it, and this is an ongoing weekly, if not daily, event. That's why venting is so a significant source of methane from a compressor station. In fact, the compressor station, the electric compressor station from the 1,200 feet from the Franklin Township High School, in mornings on a cold day, you can smell the methane. You think someone's having a gas leak. One day it was really bad. I contacted the security person. This, of course, was, 5 years ago now. But so this is ongoing with all the compressor stations. But the one that we're getting is using turbines. They're outdated technology. So even in these turbines, when it fires the natural gas, in the exhaust, there's unburned methane coming out because it doesn't burn at all. And if I remember correctly, I think it's 17 tons per year for each compressor turbine. So it's significant. We have to do everything we can. If we can get the county to engage on this, and also the state. But DEP appears to me, in terms of the interactions that I've had with them, to just be going through the mechanical process and not doing anything better than what they're mandated to do out of the law, which is quite limited. So, but I thank you very much for the executive order, and I hope you can work with the task force and the other folks available, and thank you for tonight.
Thank you.
Linda Powell, 22 Buffer Drive. I never doubted you guys, the council or Mr. Vornlocker. Okay. I didn't prepare anything to speak today, but I do want to thank you again. It was 9 years ago in June that I first learned about this project, and one of the first thing I did was contact our mayor, Phil Kramer, and things kind of went from there. Kirk was the one who had the idea of Kirk Frost, who just spoke, had the idea of a task force. And it just so happens the whole steering committee of the task force is here right now. And I'm hoping we can make that official again and add a few new members, some research people who are very interested in helping us. One of the things that I remember, they had, Williams Transco had received the air permit from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection prior to the changing the regulations in the state and making them more stringent. And they wouldn't have passed it today. And if they say it's the same project and we have the same regulations, they shouldn't pass the air permit. And of course, the same thing with the water permits, because nothing's changed, except the prices have gone up. So I'm glad we're still all in on this together, and we've won this before, and we're raring to go and win it again. Thank you.
Hi. Oh, great. I guess you can't move this. Okay. Hi, my name is Dr. Donna Lisi. I live at 12 Lyndhurst Drive in Franklin. I'm also chair of the Franklin Township Board of Health Advisory Council. My comments are supportive of by the Franklin Township Board of Health Advisory Council, and we want to commend the council for their support of opposing this compressor station project again. We went through this before, and hopefully we'll be successful again. I also do want to just provide some information, because in talking to some citizens of the area, they're not aware of what's involved with this. So I just want to comment that the literature has been very clear on the hazards associated with what comes from a compressor. They have showed that areas around compressor stations and associated communities are directly impacted, and they affect multiple systems, including cardiovascular, respiratory, as well as reproductive problems and cancers, and causing shortness of life, increases in morbidity and mortality. Other effects of compressor stations that we know is the effect on the environment. Compressor stations account for about 98 to 99% of volatile organic compounds and about 57 to 61% of nitrogen oxide compounds that form ozone. And those, if we get this station, we will be covered in smog. That's just some of their emissions. The other thing about this is the particulate matter that is produced by this. There's high amounts of hazardous polyaromatic hydrocarbons and heavy metals. If the particulate matter is small enough, it will actually bypass the lungs and nose and respiratory tract and go directly into the lungs, where it can cause disease, and that's why we can see increases in lung cancer. Just think back to last summer when we had the Canadian fires and what that was like to have particulate matter, the burning of the eyes, the shortness of breath. That would be our life on a daily basis. Short-term exposure to these compounds, even for just hours or days, have been associated with increased respiratory, cardiovascular, and cerebral vascular mortality, which includes strokes. They contributed to the death of vulnerable groups. And in Franklin, we have 4 older adult communities that would be particularly vulnerable, in addition to the children and other people with health issues that would be at risk. We are in unprecedented times. The safeguards against hazards from compressor stations, such as the Clean Air Act of 1970, which established national ambient air quality standards to regulate air pollution from all sources, including compressor stations, is being gutted or severely watered down. However, even when these regulations were in place, there were reports of a lack of air quality monitoring in the vicinity of compressor stations, putting these communities at risk. Further, the National Ambient Air Quality Standards, the state implementation plans for these on emissions and air quality, call for sources of emissions to self-monitor and self-report pollutants, allowing polluters to falsify or fail to report data or report unreliable data. These standards have been criticized as being too lax and not sufficient to protect communities, and now it would be even worse under the current administration. Other safeguards are on the chopping block at the federal level, include the National Emission Standards for Hazardous Air Pollutants, which regulate chemical compounds. Another safeguard was the EPA's former definition of environmental justice. We heard a lot today about justice. Well, environmental justice would include the LGBT community as well as other marginalized communities, and a call for the fair treatment and meaningful involvement of all people with respect to development, implementation, and enforcement of environmental laws, regulations, and policies. The EPA, under the current administration, has abandoned the policy of environmental justice, thereby further silencing those most directly affected by the destructive policies and their initiatives. So who will track this data? Even under the best of times with regulations in place, there are often gaps. Due to low sampling frequency, existing air quality monitoring data may not always be representative of actual exposure to nearby communities, and that information that we have already is very alarming. It is already difficult to track spatial and temporal fluctuations in pollutant contaminants from these compressor stations, such as the short, high-intensity chemical emission bursts. This doesn't even take into account those compounds that may undergo reactions to form even more compounds. The compounds that come from a compressor station are very complex chemically, and so they can interact with other compounds in our environment, including some of the pollutants that we have gotten from the increased traffic from the warehouses and that type of traffic. These chemical reactions can change how pollutants are taken up by the body, as well as how fast the body can break them down. These substances combine with pollutants that already exist in the environment, such as I mentioned, such as the ones that are caused by the warehouses, and we don't even know the full effects of what this can do. Even when they've looked at indoor quality, so people to say, well, I'm just going to stay in my house. Well, even indoor quality near compressor stations have been found to be toxic, containing these volatile organic compounds in levels that exceed communities that are not by compressor stations. They exceed the meager national ambient air quality standards at the federal level. Now with deregulation, okay, well, just to say, now with deregulation, this will just get much worse. So I commend you all, and hopefully you can stand firm and we can make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Mr. Mayor and members of council, my name is Jim Waltman. I'm the executive director of the Watershed Institute. We're a nonprofit organization that works to keep our water clean, safe, and healthy. We do that through land conservation, environmental advocacy, aquatic sciences, and education of children, teens, and adults. I want to speak to 2 resolutions. First, the one you just passed. I want to thank you. I want to commend you for taking this action tonight and for your tremendous leadership over the last years. You know, sadly, there's a saying we have in the environmental community, every victory feels temporary. And every loss is permanent. So we may have to keep fighting this thing for a while, but you've shown through your leadership that we will fight and we will win together again. So thank you for that leadership. I also want to commend you for having on your consent agenda tonight Resolution 25259. This is supporting the removal of the Blackwell's Mills Dam. You know, it's a rare thing in life when we have an opportunity to bring back a piece of nature that was extinguished centuries ago. Back in the early part of the 18th century, we had what were described as numberless, meaning enormous runs of American shad and other migratory fish up the Millstone River. They were talking in the late 18th centuries how sad it was that we lost shad in the early 18th century because of the dam construction. 2017, a consortium of federal and state agencies and environmental groups came together. We removed a dam in Manville called the Weston Mill Dam. It was one of the happiest days of my life. I've been in the nonprofit environmental sphere for 35 years now. I've never seen that kind of restoration effort where, again, you have a chance to bring something back that we thought was lost forever. American shad and other fish started swimming up the river the next year and having young the following year. Had never been seen in recorded time. So this is a chance to bring something back. Thank you for discussing this tonight, putting it on your consent agenda. Now, I don't know if your namesake, Benjamin Franklin, was much of a shad fisherman or if he ate a lot of shad, but I do know that that gentleman right there, our founding president, George Washington, was said to have been a huge fan of fishing and catching shad, but also that he fed the troops at Valley Forge that tough winter. Fortunately, there was an early run of American shad on that river, on the Schuylkill River. A famous author named John McPhee, whom some of you may have heard, wrote a book called The Founding Fish. And that was all about how those American shad helped those American troops get through that winter and create this wonderful country. So thanks again for your time. Thanks for your leadership. We appreciate all that you're doing tonight.
Javon Walker, 15 Kuhn Street. I just want to say, there's a lot of reasons why I'm up here, but the first thing is, ironically, Councilman Wright is not here, but since this is all being recorded, I want to congratulate him on his election victory last night. I was one of the primary candidates for the 4th Ward. I definitely just wanted to do a campaign. I expected to win, didn't win, but that's perfectly fine. But I wanted to try to improve Franklin in so many ways that I thought could be improved, and that's based off of my personal experiences, travel experiences, and so forth. And I hope maybe in the future I can work with the council on trying to implement some of these strategies, some of these initiatives, and so forth. One of the things is, I'm just going to ramble for a little bit. One of the environmental things that I wanted to try to achieve in Franklin or the state or whatever is, last year, I'm a huge soccer football fan, and last year I went to Germany for the Euros, saw a couple matches, and the first match that I watched was, I can't remember, it might have been Frankfurt, but 50,000 people in the seats. I'm sitting in one of 50,000 people, and I see, leading up to the seats, it's booths where they sell sausages, beers, and so forth. The beers themselves were about 4 or 5 euros, which is maybe like $6 here. Everyone, if it's 50,000 capacity, I'd probably say 30,000 people were drinking beer. And after the match, we're all getting up, and I'm sitting down because I want to take it all in. And I see maybe a third of the stadium standing in the seats, just moving around. And I'm like, what are they doing? I see 8, 10-year-old kids walking around. They're collecting all these cups, plastic cups. And 20 cups, 30 cups, whatever the case is. And I'm asking my friend, why are they doing this? Lo and behold, Germany had some kind of plan with UEFA that if you pay 4 to 5 euros per cup, if you return that, you get 2 to 3 euros per cup. So you have 10-year-old kids walking around collecting all these cups, and by the time they're finished, it's 20, 30 euros. At the end of the day, those are 10-year-old kids that might have just paid off the ticket to the match. Very efficient people, very efficient country. And I'm thinking about it. They're sitting down trying to they're standing at the booth trying to redeem their vouchers to get the cash in hand. And when you think about it, it reduces the plastic usage of 50,000 people, and you also get to avoid paying all those stewards to clean up the mess. They dump out all the contents from the previous person that drank out of the cup, and they return it. Like, I can't think of a more efficient system for them to try to improve usage of waste materials. That's one of the examples that I had of why I wanted to run for office, and some of the environmental issues. There's so many things across the world that we really could implement in this township, and if we're the first to do it, I guarantee we'd be the leader across the state. And if it became a national type thing, we'd be the we would be the archetype for implementing that type of initiative. So that's just one. Don't want to go through a lot because I got a minute and a half left. I'm actually packing. I'm going to Argentina and Uruguay tomorrow, but I wanted to at least tell Councilman Wright face-to-face congratulations on his primary victory, and I hope he gets to see it. So that's it. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Beverly Lawson, 2004 Amwell Road. I'm here to discuss the parks in town. I've started to notice how filthy they seem to be lately. I don't know what the issue is. I know the parks close at dusk, but there are beer bottles, condoms, just trash in all of the parks. I went the other day, I think it was like Tuesday or whatever, into South Middlebush Park here. Normally that park is pretty good. Over by the skating park, it's pretty clean. But the condoms and such, if they close at dusk, what can possibly be done to kind of quell this activity after dark if the parks are closed after dark? I know the kids need stuff to do, but come on. Some of the disgustingness of the whole thing is just ridiculous. We pay too many taxes to go into a park, and it looks that filthy. So I think that needs to be handled some kind of way. I don't know what needs to be done, but something should be done about that. And it's not just that park. I've been in several others recently, and it's just become a thing. I don't know what it is, but people are just hanging out there after hours, and it's just filthy. All right, and my other thing is, since we're throwing out proclamations, June is Veterans Month, so I hope this council also does one for Veterans Month. So with that, have a good night.
Anyone else? I ask for unanimous consent to close council public comments without objection. Public comments are closed. Address comments is the next item. Mr. Vornlacher already spoke to the people who asked about the speed limits. LGBT, thank you for your thank yous. I've already said what I've said about it, and can't wait till next year. Nessie, I'll Councilman Potaznik, do you have any comments on Nessie? No. He made a great speech out at the gazebo, and he's made a great speech at the mic. Thank you for the lecture on the American shad. I'm a Revolutionary War buff. I never heard that before. That was great. Mr. Walker, oh, there you are. Very well spoken, very impressive. Stick around, apply for committees. We'll be seeing you. And Mr. Vornlacher, you can comment on the parks.
So I just texted the public safety director. I believe as a former law enforcement official, you know it's a police department response. You should report that to the police when you find it.
And I just wanted to comment, I've done ride-alongs with the police, not for years now, but I did do them, and they always swung through the parks. But Now there you are reminded. Time for council comments. Councilman Karazi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also want to congratulate all the winners of primaries, and also I want to thank again Mr. Walker. I understand that you went and you did extensive canvassing, and that's wonderful you did. And we hope that you will do that for the Democratic candidates in November, and we're looking forward to that. Mr. Mayor, I have two announcements. I had the opportunity to participate in the recognition of the volunteers by the New Jersey Blood Services. And I'm really happy that among the largest donors were our Franklin Township Municipal Building employees. So really hats off to them. And they donated in the category of 200 to 499 donations, which is impressive. One thing that they mentioned during that event is that the urgent need for certain types of blood, primarily the O type. And so if anybody can donate, please consider doing that. You're saving a life. So it is so important for us to support this event and giving the blood. So please try to do that. There is going to be a blood drive, I'm sure, in different parts of our township, but there will be one on July 5th at the Masjid Ali, which is at 47 Cedar Grove Lane. And when the flyer comes out, we'll let the community know. But there are other ways that different churches and different houses of worship will have, and hopefully we will have other opportunities for the blood donation. The second one is our trail committee is planning to have various events during the summer. In fact, mark your calendar for July 12th is going to be a firefly walk and also astronomy observation and activities. This is a great event. It's going to be at John Clyde Memorial. There's going to be a walk. You're going to be seeing the fireflies, and they have a great telescopes that you can look at the stars and other things. So it's a great thing for the family to come. So please mark that one, July 12th. Lastly, the HRC meeting is on June 25th across the hall, and we will have the speaker who is the Assemblyman Joe Danielson, Director of Communications. So if you could come at 7 o'clock, please join that committee as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilman Vasanella.
Jumping over here.
Mixing it up.
Not that we need another festival. I love them all, but maybe we'll have a Shad Festival if this really works out. And not trying to be sarcastic, you know, they have a couple large ones in the New Hope, Lambertville area, but that was interesting. What I would ask, though, seriously, and I'm very familiar with the work that your organization does, a lot of great work. If you document any of this and notice the results, because as much as there may be people in town that do it informally, we won't really know. So please, I don't know if you how you guys document it, but I know myself, I'm sure the town and the council would be interested over the next couple of years how that repopulates and whatever. Please send it along. I'm sure the manager has some ideas and inform the residents who were complaining about the issues of speeding and whatnot on Franklin Boulevard. I'm not going to get into it. I'll say that I support anything that we could do. It is a county road, and I'm sure the manager talked to him about that. But I personally, and I believe the council would support anything to lower speed limits in this town, especially as it has to do. We have 3 schools. I mean, technically, the middle school, I don't know if the address is Franklin Boulevard, but the way kids come and go, we have 3 schools within a half a mile. I don't know if I should say thousands, but hundreds and hundreds during the school year circulating, whether it's before school, after school, on the way to school. So anything we could do in that area would be welcome, and I'm sure the manager will fill in our Public Safety Committee if and what we could do to move in that direction. Thank you for everyone who came out and voted in the primary. Obviously a big year this year in New Jersey with an open gubernatorial seat and lots of other things going on, including locally. I think that's pretty much it. We didn't have a meeting tonight because of some of the activities going on around here, but we will be reading out on hopefully a extensive public safety and public works meeting in the next month. And don't forget, July 3rd is our big fireworks. Thank you.
Councilman Onijaka.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to use this privilege to thank the organizers of the Pride occasion. I was there, and with other fellow council members, and it was well organized, and good food, good music, and we had free ice cream. Yes. Though added very few calories to our body. Okay, secondly, recently I noticed a heavy parking along Whitehall roads towards Kodleyu. The parking is on both sides, which includes trucks and lorries around that area, on both sides of the road. In fact, the parking is on both sides, and which disrupts the traffic on that area. So I think we really need to know what to do on that road. Mayor, that's what I have for tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Potasnik, you lost your turn. You were in your, no, Mr. Potasnik.
I just have one announcement, which is Tuesday next week at 6:30 at the Board Administrative Complex on Route 27. There is going to be an information session on the Williams Transco proposal, the Northeast Supply Enhancement Project, the dubious project. Folks from Rethink Energy, as well as New York, New Jersey Baykeeper and others are going to walk through the specifics of the project. And then we're also going to train people on how to become an intervener and how to make comments. And that's going to be recorded, and we hope to put that up on the task force website. That'll be exactly 1 week before comments are due to FERC. If we don't get the extension. I know some folks are pushing for an extension of the 21-day comment period to 90 days. We'll see if that happens. In the past, that really hasn't been the tradition in that initial FERC docket. So thank you to everybody who has already submitted comments. If you don't know how, on the website, if you just put in Nessie or Williams Transco, the task force website comes on. The township manager, I want to thank him. He did update the information about the info session and the rally earlier today, as well as the document on how to become an intervener and then how to make a comment. If you're already an intervener, since they're using the same docket number, you can just log in and add your comments if you have an account set up already. From the drop-down, you have to hit to the next page. It's -007. You don't have to register again. Oh, you have to re-intervene under the new docket number, which I will go back and correct. So you must re-intervene. That's how they make it interest. But you don't have to register. You don't have to register again. So, so I stand corrected. So come to the info session. We're going to make sure we get it right then, because it's really important. It is about showing numbers. That's what folks are looking for right now, and they give you a very limited window. So bring your friends and neighbors and family. This is an important project. To stand up against pollution in our community. So that's really what my only announcement. Come to the info session.
Thank you. Councilman Barrison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had a community foundation meeting. As people may not realize that the Heller Foundation awards $5,000 scholarships to graduating high school students to go into civil and mechanical engineering degrees. So this year we made a change. We are awarding, instead of one, we are awarding 3 scholarships to deserving high school students. So that happened. I think we just got to know who these kids are. Congratulations to them. I think Anne-Marie's going to get a check for each one of them soon. Other than that, I think we all see what's going on in LA. I think we all have a joint responsibility to bring awareness and maybe protest of the, I guess, the way that it's being handled. The crowds who are on the streets protesting. We have the National Guard, we have Marines in there, which is not how the administration should handle these crowds. And so I would encourage each one of you, every one of you, or all of the town, to reach out to your congresswoman, congressmen, no matter the party, as many as you can, to express your opinion, how unfair it is, how uncivil, and how violent it is by itself. The people are not violent. In India, the nonviolence movement won independence. Gandhi started the nonviolent movement in protest. They protested peacefully, nonviolent. British killed, hundreds of thousands of Indians for protesting for no reason. So we have some history, and I have, not me personally, but Indians have gone through that. And looking at LA, I feel a lot of parallel to it. So please contact Congress people, congressmen, congresswomen, and express your objection to what's happening in LA. Please do that. Other than that, we have a couple of events coming up this weekend. Saturday, Juneteenth. Don't go to the Pine Grove Middle School. Now the parade is going to start at the Franklin Middle School campus, and then go to Neiman Williams Park. So we have a lot of activities, speakers, food, booths, and so it'll be a lot of fun to participate in that event. And then, last but not least, Franklin Food Bank is doing an event next week. It's a poetry contest for the high school, not high school, Franklin School District, from elementary school, middle school to high school. They're doing a poetry contest, and I think we just had a preliminary meeting. 1,500 kids sent their work. Wow. 1,500 kids. So obviously, we can't. I'm one of the judges, so they asked me to be a judge. Knowing fully well English is my second language, right, Derek? So I think they're selecting 3 or 4. Is it 3? Oh, no, 5. 5. That's right. So the first place from each group, elementary school, middle school, and high school, 5 each, and everybody's a winner. So they're going to each get 500 for the best poem, 400, 300, 200, 100. So 15 kids are going to recite the poems. It's going to be happening at 5:30 on the 17th, right here at the Villages Theater. I think, depending on the crowd, we will move to the bigger theater versus the small theater. So I'm asking everybody to come and support these young kids. The kids are our future, folks. We got to encourage them. Whatever they do. My father used to tell me, doesn't matter what you do, be the best in what you do. And we got to encourage, and we got to support, and we got to recognize them. So we got to get them in the system. So that's all I got, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Francois.
So my father was a hunter and a fisherman. So I grew up eating a whole lot of fish, and I love fish. I've never heard of chatfish, but I sure would love to eat some. So today I attended a graduation up at Consolata. So the Renshire Technical Institute had their graduation today. And it's a civil construction program, and they showed the kids were so proud of the fact that they had built a house there, you know, the whole house, but they couldn't put a roof on it. And one of the children, one of the young people, the young men, he got up and gave a speech. It was so compelling to me. He said, 3 months ago, I never knew what I was going to do with my life. He said, but being in this program has given me a lot of hope and a future about what I need to do with my life. It's given me purpose. And it was so, so powerful. And one of the things, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because our council gave the money from the ARC funding.
CARES Act, the first round of funding.
CARES Act. I got it wrong. I knew, but we gave the money.
Oh, yeah.
We gave the funding for that program, and you know, they have one over at the middle school, and we had one over at the youth center last summer, and we're going to have another one to use up the remaining money this fall. But it was so powerful. Those kids were so proud of themselves. They were committed. They had a lot of passion. They couldn't wait to show you what they had built. And you know, the township is doing a lot for our youth to invest in in their future. So I just wanted to say thank you, council. I wish you could have been there, but I have pictures if you want to see them. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Udine.
Thank you. I do want to add to Councilman Charles's Pride event. There was a person that was giving out free massages at the event, and I volunteered myself. I think self-care is needed, and sometimes we got to be selfish with it. So thank you for having an amazing event and the staff putting it together. That was really nice. I have just a few items that I do want to bring out. The first thing is I'm hearing a lot even today about public safety and traffic and speed, and I think it's been quite some time even, you know, what we're hearing from residents is around, again, speed, traffic safety, road safety, safe practices, and with the work of our staff and Mayor Kramer, what we have done is we have allocated 2 officers are now assigned to do traffic enforcement. And then there are 2 other officers that will be assigned to kind of shift when they're changing the shifts around. So we have total about 4 officers right now, and they are going to work on improving road safety, traffic compliance, violations, educate folks on our road safety and safe practices. And I think this is going to be where they can focus more specifically on the speed, specifically when it's, you know, one of the top concerns that come out is I'm tired of people riding their cars, you know, 50 miles an hour in a 25 miles road. So this is going to be a great benefit. I think by putting this together has, you know, we're hearing your concerns and we're trying our best here to allocate as we can. And I mean, though all the officers are aware that that's their, you know, job and their duty to make sure that they are paying attention to traffic safety, we have allocated specifically for officers to handle that. So that's the update that I wanted to give. And also on just around B9 warehouse, I do want to mention that the planning board attorney has appealed the judge's decision. Staff will submit our conditions to the judge who approved the warehouse. So that's as of, you know, the current status. More details to come for that. I was at Canal Walk earlier, and we have been doing a lot of seminars on quite a bit of topics that interest our senior residents, of which one of them is the state planning seminar. You know, some things that we don't always talk about, but when the time comes, we're all chasing, trying to figure things out, how to handle wills, power of attorney, et cetera, et cetera. So this seminar, the key speaker was Tina Jala, and she's been going from a bunch of adult communities, and today was Canal Walk. And it was lovely to hear her speak, and a lot of questions came out of the residents. So I love the partnership that I have, an open door policy with the residents, where they can just call me and say, hey, I would love to have this, and I throw it to the HOA, and they say, are you guys interested? Or the communities are interested, and it seems like it's been working well. And if you have any specific areas of focus that you would like, please bring it on. We also, like I said, have a health series that are going, a health fair series that's going to happen, part of the mayor's wellness campaign, and that's going to kick off in July. So as we get closer, you'll start seeing flyers go out, and you can choose between which session you would like to join. They're all educational seminars. The last thing that I have is I had one of our committee members reach out to me from PGM Community Garden, and they're looking for volunteers, community volunteers. We have the Women's Club that does the gazebo garden that you see, and they're looking for additional volunteers that can help them do some planting, organic planting, like tomatoes, basil, et cetera, and just help with the park maintenance, the community garden maintenance. The way to reach out to her name is Annabelle, and she gave me her number to provide, 973-202-8929. Again, that's 973-202-8929, and they are looking for anyone to help them out after hours and weekends. It's 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever you can provide if they're just looking for volunteers. That's all I had. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. For my comments, one more comment to Mr. Walker. I don't know which one of these two it is, but it has my phone number on it. So give me a call. I want to talk a little bit about the planning of the celebration of our 250th year anniversary. I was shamed in a recent article in that the as yet to be named committee, so I thought of at least a temporary name. I'll let the committee decide more, but I'll call it Franklin 250. And I get about 4 calls a day from Mr. LaCourte. He's very excited about it. And I have some nominations that I'll be making later in the meeting. That's all I have. Township Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Real quickly, so Councilwoman Francois, so shad, American shad, are in the herring family, which I'm sure you're familiar with. I've fished for them many times. The shad run is on the Delaware River. And the fact that they'll come back to the Millstone River is actually a very, very big deal among avid fishermen in this area of the state. And so if you think of flaky white fish and a herring that's about 5 pounds instead of those little things that you get in a can, now you're talking about American shad. Okay. I've caught them many times in the Delaware. It's a very fun fish to catch and equally fun to eat.
Well, next time you catch one,
so
make
the next
sure
one, next time I catch one, I'll make sure that I give you a fillet. Absolutely. The other issue that I want to just raise, and it also has to do with the Millstone River, is that on July 1st, Tuesday, from 6:30 to 8, there will be a public information session at the Somerset County Administration Building to go over the study that was conducted for the Griggstown Causeway and 2 intersections, not only the Griggstown Causeway and River Road, but also the Griggstown Causeway and Canal Road and the intersection of Bunker Hill Road and Canal Road, for a number of different safety issues that have been investigated by an outside consulting firm on behalf of the county. I was a part of that study from its inception, I think back in 2018. And they are at the point now where they will be making known their preliminary preferred alternative and seeking any comments from the public before they move forward. The county has committed to funding these improvements to the Griggstown Causeway and River Road. Anyone who has an interest in that, again, Tuesday, July 1st, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the County Administration Building. There's information on our website. I believe that Councilman Potosnik is also working with our clerk for a mailing of those in the vicinity of the causeway, so that they're notified as well. It's also on the county website, and there's a link to the scope of the project on the county website. So the bridge over the Millstone River, where soon shad will swim, is slated for some improvements.
Thank you. Do you think it'll let in more gefilte fish?
No, no more mention of fish tonight. I'm getting hungry.
Item number 10, council discussion items. There are none. Approval of the minutes. I present the following minutes to the Township Council for their approval. Work sessions and regular meetings all on March 25th, April 22nd, May 13th, and May 27th. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any corrections? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Potosnik? Deputy Mayor Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Approval of the warrants. Warrants in the amount of $10,973,677.49 on July 12th, 2025 are presented to the Township Council for payment. Do I have a motion on the warrants?
I move that the warrants as read be paid.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Anyone want to pull an item or question an item? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Potosnik? Deputy Mayor Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Item number 13, public hearing and adoption of ordinances on second reading. There are none. Ordinances, item number 14, ordinances and introduction of first reading. So first reading is when we announce to the world that we are considering an ordinance. Second reading is when we actually will vote on it and there's an opportunity for public speaking. But we're doing first reading now on ordinance 4469-25, an ordinance amending the municipal code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 384, Water, Section 384-1, terms defined, 384-12, quarterly consumption charges, and 384-38.1, accessibility for meters and inspections. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting and publication in accordance with law, and a public hearing and final adoption at a meeting of the Township Council to be held on Tuesday, June 24th, 2025, at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
Hurry up, unplug. For you.
Anne
I
Marie?
can't turn it on unless she unplugs this thing from the televisions. I need your HDMI unplugged so mine can be plugged in. You're not going to use the timer anymore?
We're not, we have the discussion first. So what all that fancy stuff meant was we are in the position, which I mentioned last year, of having to increase our water rates again. We did it last year. I mentioned that we would probably have to do it again this year. We didn't want to do it in one big bite, so we did it more slowly. And we're trying to get a presentation up. Yep. We'll take 1 minute for technical reasons.
I just have to unplug it 4 times to get it.
No, you just have to change this.
High tech stuff.
So, So we did a lot of work to try to come up with what we thought was a better way to bill and a way that would be less odious to the citizens. All this is based on 2024 usage, where we billed for 1 billion with a B, 809 million gallons of water. We wanted our plan initially was to increase by 15%, which would give us a revenue of 2.1 million. But our accountant recommended that we increase by 2.4 million. So that would have been a 17.4% increase. What we have tried to do is come up with a tiered plan. So if you conserve water, you will save money. If you use a lot of water, we're going to charge you more. This hopefully will protect the homeowner who's careful with their water, and it will promote water savings. So I'm going to try to explain what exactly we did. For usage from 0 to 10,000 gallons, the rate is 0.008203, so $82.03 for 10,000 gallons of water. That's a 5% increase. That will affect roughly 7,177 users of our total of 18,563 users, which was 39% of the users. Now, people don't use the same amount of water each quarter. The snowbird may go down for the winter and use virtually no water over the winter, and then come down in the summer and water their lawn and use a lot of water, so that they'd be affected by both the lowest category here and possibly the highest category here. I would have had to have 4 columns of how many people were affected for each quarter to even it out. So what I did is I took a yearly usage and divided it by 4, and that's how I came up with the number of people in each category. There's problems with that, obviously, but it gives you a rough idea of where people sit. From 10,001 gallons to 25,000 gallons, the rate goes up to a 7% increase. And you can see the number there of the exact amount per gallon. I was concerned, we don't have the ability in our billing system to do what you do with your federal taxes. If you make $50,000 and there's one tax rate for under 25 and another tax rate for over 25, for the first 25,000 you earn, you pay the lower tax rate, and then on the next 25 you pay a higher tax rate. We don't have the ability to do that, so there's a jump between 10,000 gallons and 10,001 gallon, and I wanted to figure out what that was. So for that low jump, it's just $1.57 extra you're paying. As you go up higher to the larger amounts, the jump becomes somewhat larger. $9.77 in the for 25,000 to 25,001, and at 100,000 to 100,001, it's a $78 jump. So from 25,001 to 50,000 is a 12% increase from current. From 50,000 to 100,000, it's a 17.5% increase, and over 100,000, it's a 27.5% increase. If you have a big lawn and you're watering it, you can hit that amount. But you can see, if you compare it to the 17.4% increase that we would have had to charge everyone, then those first 3 rates are 39%, 45%, and 12% of people, or 84% of the people, are getting less than we had if we had charged the 15% to everybody, or the 15% to everybody. That's 17.7 thousand people that are going to. I shouldn't say they're going to get their water rates lowered, but it's lower than if we hadn't done a tiered approach. So with the tiered approach, straightforward as I've just described it, we would increase our revenue by $2.7 million, remembering that the accountant wanted 2.4. The reason we did that was we went over was because Mr. Potasnik had the appropriate idea, in my opinion, it was appropriate, that apartment dwellers are kind of getting the raw end of the deal, because if you have an apartment of 100 people or 100 separate apartments in one building on 1 meter, and they're all conserving and they're doing just under 10,000 gallons, well, you sum those up and they get pushed into the higher rate. There was a lot of discussion about how to do it and ways to do it, and there's limitations of our billing system, but what we decided is for the apartments to do a flat rate of 15%. And when you do that, we come out with $2.422,000 that would be increasing our income, which satisfies our accountant. So I know that's a complicated explanation, but I wanted people to understand what we're doing. Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor, just I'd like to add that all of that is based on quarterly, not monthly, and so everyone should understand that 0 to 10,000 gallons and 10,001 to 25 is a quarterly charge, not a monthly charge or any other interval.
Thank you. Good point. Anyone else have something?
I just want to say thank you. I know the committee worked really hard to come up with this system. The tiered use, the tiered method also drives water conservation, which is just good all around. So folks can get to the lower bracket and then pay less, which is awesome, and it helps us to moderate our obligations to the different water companies. And then secondly, the treatment of the apartments so they wouldn't be overburdened with the larger usage. It was hard, but folks worked very diligently to come up with a system. It's going to be a little difficult to implement. There's hundreds, almost 700 different accounts that we have to, or meters that have to be coded the right way. But I think it is critical for families in the apartments to be treated fairly. So just thank you all around to everybody for the great work they did.
Mayor?
Yeah, yes.
I just wanted to add, and I know I think I might have mentioned in talking to you prior about that. I know it was impossible this time, but I would hope we can find a solution to the technology to do what we're saying we're trying to do, which is to push for water conservation, meaning if somebody, is bringing their water down and it's 10,300 gallons, I know it might sound trivial, but it's money and it's a motivator that we can figure out a way so that they're only charged the higher rate for the percentage they're in, no matter what category. And if we can do that, I think it's more fair and more of an incentive. But I do, as I mentioned, this is great work for tackling this time, but I hope we can get more creative and find ways for the people that are really trying to conserve water or have the least usage and strain on the system could be as rewarded as possible with the financial structure that's in place. Thank you.
Anyone else?
So, Mayor, I think we also just want to remind that the water rates go up every year or every so often by the supplier to us. And this ordinance, I think we are incorporating it automatically to increase.
Right, and that's part of the problem is we go 10 years between increasing our water rate. We're now going to, as you said, automatically increase when we get charged more. Anyone else? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Potosnik?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Udine? Yes. Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 4470-25, an ordinance amending the municipal code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 115, Dogs and Other Animals, Article 3, Animal Control, Section 1520-25, Fees. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, publication in accordance with law, and public hearing and final adoption at a meeting of the Township Council to be held on Tuesday, June 24th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the Township Council chambers. Do we have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. So this is about fees that we have not changed since, was 2006?
So most of them since 2006. There was one that was updated in 2008, but so in quite some time.
So these are fees charged for adoption, et cetera. We were way under what neighboring communities do, and the request actually came from the people who take care of the dogs and volunteer their time to take care of the dogs, so that, and cats. Sorry, I'm a little prejudiced, and other animals.
Not Chad.
Not Chad. So they want to be able to take better care and be able to make fixes and things that need to be done. So this actually request came from them. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Potosnik?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Udine? Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Items, we're now on to the consent agenda, item number 15. The items A through AO, now there's a consent agenda, as listed in the consent agenda portion of this meeting, are presented to the Township Council for adoption. Do we have a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Anyone want to pull an item, question an item?
Mayor, can I draw attention to two in particular?
Yes, sir.
So one that I'd like to draw attention to is item Z. That's the award of a bid for new unused electric SUVs. Through the course of our budget meetings, Councilmember Potosnik was very insistent that he thought we could find an SUV that would be appropriate for our construction department, that had appropriate ground clearance, and it's an issue because construction officials, inspectors have to go off-road on new construction sites, and we can't have the bottom of the vehicles being damaged. And through a lot of work in between the committee, we did find that there were 4 that met the 2 criteria. 1, that they were capable to go off-road for our construction officials, and 2, they were within our budget. And so that's what these 4 vehicles are. So that's one. And then the other, I'm not quite sure, oh, here. And the other is item AC. Item AC was, again, a capital budget item in this year's budget. In the Public Works Department, if you recall, we talked about a vehicle that would be allowed to use to vacuum our catch basins and gutters, but didn't require a CDL. Well, the reason I'm bringing that to your attention is that when we originally got the quote for that vehicle from the dealer, the quote was for $424,673. This, you'll see, I think it says here, is now $460,595. So it went up, what, about $36,000, give or take? When we questioned the dealer, why the increase from May to June, we were told that, believe it or not, tariffs do impact everyone. And this is the impact that our federal government's decision on tariffs is having on municipal government as the trickle down. That increase in prices, because this truck is to be built, it hasn't been built yet, is the tariff increases that the manufacturer is experiencing. So don't think that doesn't impact you. It does. And that's the only ones I wanted to draw attention to.
Any others? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Barrison?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Oh, yes.
Councilman Onichaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Potosnik?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Resolutions to be voted on separately. We already did that. That was the Nessie resolution. Old business, boards, committees, commissions, vacancies. Any nominations? So I have a number of nominations for the Franklin 250 Committee. Bill Grippo, Chris Kelly, Alan Hurley, Glenn McFarland, George Luck, Terry Sergio, James Vasanella as a citizen member, and Jennifer Welch. There's been a lot of interest in this. I'll also nominate myself as the liaison to the committee. Are there any other nominations for these positions? Madam Clerk?
You can do it by
Oh, that's right. We
acclamation.
could do it by acclamation with no other nominations. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion is carried. Thank you for myself, and thank you for all of these other members. I guess we have no executive session. Adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. We are adjourned. Be well, Franklin.